Okay, we're live. Daniel Patrick Welch here. I am going live to just say a few things about what's going on. Hopefully, get some truth out there to people who are sick of listening to the mainstream. It's brutal. What's going on? Plus, I want to try some things in this chat and see if I can get them to work. Anyway, things are changing quickly and evolving very quickly. And I don't know if the bombs will have started falling by the time I go to post this. But I'm also going to be on a couple of other podcasts, one later on today with Sean Atwood live, and then I don't know from there. So just I know there are a lot of people doing this, and it's a good thing that people are speaking out. But follow me, subscribe below, share, do whatever, just to make sure the voice of the voiceless keeps being heard. So this is a crazy thing right now. What is happening in the West is beyond belief. To have the Israel use the U.S. negotiations as a front to then go behind everyone's back and attack Iran mercilessly. These bombings, which they now claim were preemptive, is crazy. It is crazy, and it is something that we have to stand up and push back on, because most of the world, and there are people like Piers Morgan, people like the podcasters and the pundits in the West, think that they speak for the world. They think that they are somehow in the center of something, and the north flank of NATO is not anymore part of the important part of the world. That's getting less and less true, and that's why this happens the way it happens. There is nothing new. I know this is really crazy stuff that's happening, but there is nothing unpredictable or unpredicted about what is going on. This is the end of an empire, and we're watching it in real time, so we can jump in and say, this is where we're at now. I don't have a crystal ball, but I can draw the outlines, not a timeline, outline of what happens when empires circle the drain. And this was always inevitable, which is to say that as Russia, China, Iran, BRICS rise, and the West falls, there will be death throes, agonal gasps that are dangerous and very scary. And they still have all the power in the world. They still have most control over the narrative, especially in the West itself. So they can tell us whatever argument they are leaning on, which in this case appears to be a dust-off replay of the Iran WMD playbook. That there are nuclear weapons. What was it in Iran? What were they? They were chemical weapons. My God, I can't even remember. But they could reach London in 15 minutes, or whatever lies they came up with, and they haven't stopped. They've been lying nonstop the whole time. And now you have a megalomaniac, God wannabe, and a set of acolytes that think of him as God, who is in the most dangerous position that a president has been in since Truman, which is to start the nuclear war. Trump is completely out of his mind, narcissist to the point of insanity. And if you have taken a bet on him as anti-deep state or some sort of peacemaker, first of all, you got to look in the mirror and say, like, you have to be able to say I was wrong, even if you voted for him over the other one, and there isn't any the elections are over. There's no more discussion on any of that. That can still have been true. But like I have always said, I've been saying this for years, the worst president, everyone's comparing, I'm the best, he's the worst. The worst president in history is the one that currently holds the office. That's how this works. That's how empire falls. And the tricks and the bared teeth and the gnashing of teeth and the flailing of limbs is worse now, and it will be worse tomorrow. So it's not even a personal attack on Trump, which until now I've always thought were just too much. I mean, that was not it wasn't really relevant to make this a personal vendetta. But of course, he has used that persona of this megalomania to kind of absorb the West's delusional narcissism, the self interested, completely ignorant, like murderous beast. And that's I mean, in on a family level, it's not the uncle you want hanging around the barbecue and drinking too much. But when Jimmy Burns is whispering in your ear and you're the sudden wannabe president after Roosevelt suddenly dies, and he's telling you exactly how many bombs you can drop on Russia, that's a very, very scary thing. And that is kind of what is happening right now. And if you don't realize that, then you're not as involved in politics as you thought you were, by saying we care about, what is it, authoritarianism, we care about any of those things. These are very old strategic concerns, and they're not going anywhere. They rear their ugly heads right now. Look at the position. This is the amazing thing. This is where I want to see if I can try something here, but I don't know if I can. I want to show it because it is amazing. Mike Huckabee, who had presidential ambitions like Ted Cruz. This is the crazy pot that we are in. But Mike Huckabee is now the American ambassador to Israel, right? So he wrote this tweet or whatever. Well, I can't. I don't know how to do it here. But it is shocking, absolutely shocking that. Now, see, I have it on my screen, but you can't see it. Mr. President, God spared you in Butler, PA, to be the most consequential president in a century, maybe ever, right? The decisions on your shoulders, I would not want to be made by anyone else. You have many voices speaking to you, sir. But there is only one voice that matters, his voice. I am your appointed servant in this land, and am available for you, but I do not try to get in your presence often because I trust your instincts. No president in my lifetime has been in a position like yours. Not since Truman. Oh, here we go. Not since Truman in 1945. I don't reach out to persuade you, only to encourage you. I believe you will hear from heaven, and that voice is far more important than mine or anyone else's. You sent me to Israel to be your eyes, ears, and voice, and to make sure our flag flies above our embassy. My job is to be the last one to leave. I will not abandon this post. Our flag will not come down. You did not seek this moment. This moment sought you. It is my honor to serve you. Mike Huckabee. Now, what kind of crazy amalgam of messianic rapturism. What is that? And why is it people who have close to nuclear power in our system? This is the problem with a president who's not too bright, self inflated, who loves that, who loves being having his little god complex and his adolescent whinerism, is and then he has these people coming and just sycophants one after the other. Tulsi Gabbard can't even stand up for herself, right? Who said, this is what has been happening. I went before the Senate and I testified under oath that this is what intelligence believes. They are not capable of making this weapon of mass destruction in the near future. And that is, of course, that's an American intelligence assessment. They have been saying this, poked by the Israelis, for 33 years. In a couple of years, they're going to do it. In 5 years, they're going to do it. In a couple of months, they're going to do it. In a couple of days, they're going to do it. There have been times exactly when there is either a scandal or some sort of an emergency that they're going to do it. They're ready to do it. They're ready. How? Oh my God, for more than 30 years. Think of what that means. It means that this is a narrative. It's not news. It's certainly not intelligence. It's unintelligence, right? Or it's ignorance. Is that true? Can someone be appointed the director of national ignorance or the director of national imposition, implementation, interference? I have eyes. We have eyes. And speaking of having eyes everywhere, it's very important to notice that a lot of this operation has been done completely with the complicity of the United States and NATO and Western powers, MI6, CIA. These are classic. First of all, it looks very much on the ground level like the drone attack inside Russia on the air bases that they're still trying to claim changed. It was Superman. It went around the world backwards and stopped time. It created Hurricane Katrina. In retrospect, it blew up Mount Pinatubo. This all the lies that they can smear are out there for something that they tried to say was the best and brightest thing they've ever done. And in Iran, they did a similar thing. They had Mossad had cells, had workshops making drones within Iran, so that, according to the Iran defense industry, I don't know, there's not, you never take everyone at their word, but obviously this is something you have to take into account. They claim that 90% of the original damage was caused from inside the country, was caused by this rift, this engagement, having been infected and infiltrated for a very long time. Now, what that says to me is that there's something that has always been questionable. Since the revolution, they have been under attack. And the one thing, the Israelis don't give a damn. The Americans don't give a damn, a flying F, about nuclear, about them being close to getting the bomb. What's happening right now? They don't have nuclear weapons, and they're beating the crap out of Israel. So what? what's the deal there? Right? It would be much worse if they had a bomb. And what is interesting in the whole complexity of WMD fake narratives is that it doesn't follow history, it doesn't follow technology, it doesn't. What do they want us to do when they were trying to get us to take their ludicrous stuff? Follow the science, right? Follow the technology. You have hypersonic precision missiles. You have 500 of them landing on Ukraine overnight and having someone say that this is an outrageous attack on civilians. 3 people were killed. What is this? This is not, we are not still in the era of mutually assured destruction. The only people who will have done that when history is written is the Americans in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Non-military targets where hundreds of thousands of civilians died because Truman wanted to scare the Russians. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the narrative. I forgot that one too. It saved 400 billion lives, right? 10 Earths worth of lives were saved by that decision. And every time they tell the narrative, it gets bigger. Now it's up to 4 trillion, I think. But there is nothing they can say that covers their tracks because they use the same script all the time. The Huckabee thing is only one of what's going on internally. Now, what I was just going over was more in terms of the geopolitical framework, the great chessboard, international relations. We have a different problem in the United States, right? And so it is even scarier when we get crazy proxies as advanced as Israel or Ukraine. The most sophisticated proxies the West has ever had, and you can get them to do this crazy stuff, really Nazified, completely unhinged, immoral attacks, and have it based on having your godlet talk to heaven. Like if there is something dangerous, this is it. These people can attack Iran for being a theocracy, right? When you have a senator, Ted Cruz, who doesn't know how populous 90 million strong Iran is, who can't point it out on a map, who has absolutely nothing to add. His brain is empty. But he was raised to believe that who blessed Israel was blessed, and who cursed Israel was cursed. Right? This is the thing. He was also raised by non-communist communists in pre-communist communist Cuba, and his father was tortured by Fulgencio Batista, who was the dictator who was overthrown by the communists. But his family was all right. The thing is, not only do you have this fake God obsession, but you also have this bizarre ignorance that there is no history there. There's no reality. And if Ted Cruz can say that he's a U.S. senator, he has presidential ambitions. Then you have another Senator Randy Fine, right, who comes and says, "Oh, when I shook Netanyahu's hand, I waited and made sure not to wash my hand until I touched the heads of my children." What are you drinking, and who gives you power? This is what I'm saying. Democrats don't have a July 4th fake barbecue so you can talk about a giggle about Trump's latest tweet. Get out and put your bodies in front of tanks. This is crazy. This is insanity. And we are watching it unfold. People close to power whose left hand is not on the Bible to tell the truth. It's on the Schofield Bible to tell the rapture. Because that's the one in which Revelations appears, and what 40% of Americans are self-declared evangelicals, which they're not all Schofield Bible thumpers, but that's where the Christian Zionist bugaboo comes from. Because in the 1850s, this kind of took over American Christianity, all the revivals and all this stuff that has this this absurd belief in the raising the fatted calf and the red heifer, slaughter on the Temple Mount, and all of this has to do with protecting this little aircraft carrier implanted in West Asia to be the eyes, ears, and forward base of the U.S. empire. And that is a mixture made in hell. Satan himself could not have made that blend of imperialism, racism, colonialism, and settlerism and Christian Zionism. That is beyond belief. It's exactly like Bandera in Western Ukraine. It's like every other megalomaniacal, supremacist. What's the one we always use? Is America is the essential nation, or the indispensable nation, right? That that it is. It's just wrong. So now, I'm sure I'm forgetting tons of things, but I'll try to keep it, on it, and refer back to some of these. I mentioned the Randy Fine. The other thing is, what are Americans going to do? What are they going to do? Trump goes through again. Now it's around noon on Saturday, so I don't really. I don't know if their bombs already dropping. The bunker buster thing is something that they keep saying they're gonna drop the mega mother of all bombs on Fodro, which is the nuclear enrichment site that is under mountains in Iran. Now, we have had, aside from Raisi's copter slamming into a mountain in Iran, I don't think it is wise to attack mountains in Iran. This is not Iraq. This is not Afghanistan. It's not even Libya. This is a mountainous, very powerful seat of an ancient empire. And the bunker buster doesn't even work the way they say. And one of the things that I think is good for the rest of the world, except that it triggers insane and unhinged preemptive strikes, but it also makes them overcalculate, miscalculate, and be completely wrong, is the actual on the ground reality and what the status of their technology and their weapons actually is. And they have been shocked. The air defense in Israel is almost completely destroyed. The Iron Dome, which was really made for Katyusha rockets from Hamas or Hezbollah, it is not made to intercept ballistic missiles, let alone hypersonics. Then in Ukraine with the Oreshnik, this is people, they're not listening. Again, they think that the threat of mutually assured destruction, it's a 50-year-old threat. That's not the way things are going. Open your eyes. But they think they have this one bomb that if they can get close enough with a B-2 is going to drop it. It's like Luke Skywalker. Remember, he had to go down in the trench and hit, that one spot on the Death Star that was 2 feet wide. Whoa, and he did it, and the Death Star blew up. That's science fiction. That doesn't happen in real life. And so you have a population that's easily cowed, dumbed down with terrible education, no geography, no history, and very little science. And you have a crazed leadership, and you have a trillionaire class that is absolutely determined not to let the triangular, this is real triangulation, is Russia, China, Iran. That's what it is. The North Corridor, the Arctic Corridor, and the southern corridor, and the one through Ukraine. These are going to be new routes for trade that have part to do with the Belt and Road Initiative that Iran and China just set up from Western China into Iran. The railroad just started, and the port of Chancai, which is going to be an end run around the Panama Canal for the Pacific ports, and then over to Brazil through this same mountainous transit technology and infrastructure that is the future. That's why they're so scared. I don't know. I mean, I've been talking to friends, talking to my wife about it. She says, well, if they have $1 trillion, why can't they have $500 billion? Just split up the pie. Why do they need to kill everyone to keep all the pie? And that is to be answered by history. I assume it is escaping what they think they would do if they were being oppressed for 500 years and took control. They would beat the crap out of everyone who had anything to do with it. And that's what they're afraid of. Maybe their underground bunkers and private islands will be shut off, right? And will drown all the billionaires and take all their stuff, but I don't know. It is this. I don't want to go on too long because, first of all, I got another show to do. I wasn't able to pull up the Huckabee thing, but I want to try that again. But please subscribe, buy me a coffee. That's there too. Follow me, chase me around. I'm not new at this. I've been writing and speaking for 40 years, but this thing, I'm a Luddite, and I apologize for my Ludditism as well as my orthography. Anyway, I'll see you soon, and hang in there. We're all in this together. Well, most of us. Take it easy.